feel like I'm the photographer I want to be. I feel like I'm in the middle of my path.
Okay.
So probably that's the way I would feel forever, because you never stop growing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
But what's missing today? What do you think is still missing? What do you think you're still looking for in your photography?
I want to go deeper. I want to go deeper in a sense of not staying just 24 hours, but I want to go deeper in stories, long-term stories.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I want to document things outside the family world, not only documentary family photography. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm open to experiment different things. So it's changing, it's part of, I think it's part of growing. In the beginning, your inspirations are other documentary family photographers.
Mm-hmm.
Then you see photographers outside the documentary family world and you're inspired by them. And then you realize that what inspires you, it's something outside the photography world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you feel like it's the same for you.
It is the same for me, actually. When you start finding inspiration in other type of work, not only photography.
Yes.
Right.
And I think one of the most inspiring book I have read, and I'm gonna, because I have it on my ebook reader, but I'm gonna buy it on paper because I think it's just amazing. It's something that really inspired me, is the autobiography of Marina Abramovic. She's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Yes, I love Marina Abramovic.
Have you read the book, Manu?
Sim,
Você leu o livro, Manu?
Li, e tem o filme da visita dela no Brasil. Vou passar para a Sara, ela vai gostar muito.
She's saying that she's read the book, and there's also a movie about her trip to Brazil when she came to Brazil. She's gonna
She's absolutely
share
amazing.
it with you. Amazing. So you're reading that now. You're reading her
autobiography.
I finished
it a couple of years ago, to be honest.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And now I am digging deeper into postpartum depression, because I am thinking of starting a project about that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to photograph things that are not things that we don't talk a lot about, and this part for me is very important, because I think that society puts a lot of pressure on women when they are pregnant. They have a lot of expectations, and I'm telling you something now. I've done birth shooting last month, and it was an amazing experience. And from one side, I was really happy to share it to the world, and from the other side, I felt the responsibility of it, because it's not the same for everybody. Giving, she had her experience, so her experience was amazing, but it's not like that for everyone. But that experience doesn't make you a good or a bad mother. But I have the feeling that sometimes many women think that if they didn't have the birth they were expecting,
exactly,
they feel less of a mother, which is terrible. It's absolutely terrible, and it's not true. It's something, birth is something very personal.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's like if it doesn't happen the way you dreamed of, it's like you were waking up on the wrong side of the bed, or like things are not going to be good, or they're not going to be it's like starting off wrong, just because it didn't go as planned.
Exactly.
Like your birth didn't go as planned. And it's devastating. It really is. So right now you're only shooting doc work, family doc work?
Right now,
like commercially.
Okay, what I'm doing is I'm working on documentary family photography for the 99% of what I'm doing. But I'm experimenting in the meantime. I'm experimenting portraiture, which is something that I'm really enjoy doing. I'm experimenting in planning some long-term project and getting in touch with people. And I think one of the most beautiful thing about photography is that it allows you to be in places where you wouldn't be, or meet people you wouldn't meet. And this goes bigger if you go also outside the family world, which is which is beautiful.
When you were working with Kirsten, did you guys do any long-term project? Did you have an opportunity to develop that?
There was the part of the long-term project, but at the time I wasn't ready. I wasn't really ready to do it. So I was like doing like day in the life sessions instead. So I didn't. And well, I have my very first long-term project is the one about my daughters, but it's ongoing and it's still very, very messy at the time. But honestly, I feel the urge of shooting outside my family now.
I know. Alguém tem alguma pergunta, gente? Eu não estou vendo nada, mas você tem que me falar se tiver alguma pergunta.
A gente está acompanhando aqui. Eu tenho muita curiosidade sobre os projetos a longo prazo, mas você acabou que perguntou para ela. São projetos também que eu gosto bastante. Alguém tem alguma pergunta em relação ao que ela já falou até agora? Ou podemos continuar? Acho que pode continuar, Gil.
É porque eu não vejo, então você tem que me falar, porque eu não vejo.
Se alguém tiver pergunta, escreve aqui do ladinho, que aí a gente faz quando a Gil fizer a pausa, tá bom? Vai lá, Gil.
Okay,
Espera só um pouquinho, a Sibila tem uma pergunta.
Okay. We have a question from one of our members. Sibila, você quer fazer? Pode abrir o áudio.
Oi, tá me ouvindo?
Sim.
Eu queria saber a respeito do que ela falou com relação a esse projeto sobre a depressão pós-parto, né? Como que eu vou formular essa pergunta? Ela mencionou aí que ela optou por fotografar agora, né, coisas que a gente não costuma falar muito sobre. E esses dias uma cliente minha, ela vem, na verdade, ela já vem me trazendo algumas coisas, me questionando o porquê que muitas fotógrafas mulheres, enfim, principalmente, não retratam como é o pós-parto, no sentido da fotografia documental, por exemplo, o retorno para o trabalho, a sobrecarga da mãe, e aí a gente conversou muito sobre isso para ver como que eu poderia passar isso através da foto, da fotografia, né? Então, a gente está fazendo um estudo, eu junto com essa cliente, porque ela tem um grupo de mães aqui em Santos para ver isso, e agora ela falar sobre esse projeto com relação à depressão pós-parto, principalmente, eu gostaria de saber como ela consegue trazer isso para a fotografia através da imagem, de fato, né? Não só a conexão ali com o cliente, porque acredito que essa conexão ela vai surgindo, mas trazer para a fotografia, para quem está de fora enxergar isso.
O que é o pós-parto, né? O que é a depressão,
a depressão, no caso
a
dela,
dificuldade do pós-parto. Sara, we just have a question from Sibila.
Okay.
She was talking about how bad it is for women when they have postpartum depression, and it is something that is not talked about, as it should be, or how or how often it should be talked about. It is not. And she's just asking, how do you try to show how it is, having a postpartum depression through your photos? How can you shoot that, and how can you show that? How can it be expressed through your photos?
Okay, this is something I am still working about, because what I've done so far, I have started doing some volunteering work for women.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to understand them and see how they feel, and talk to them and spend time with them. Now I have just bought a book, which is an autobiography about a mother who suffered from postpartum depression.
Mm-hmm.
But the way it will be told, it's something which is still in my mind.
Okay.
I'm not sure I want to be pure documentary this time. In a sense, I don't think I'm not sure that I will, spend a lot of time and work the same way we work for families. That we are not, we don't touch anything. We just leave everything the way it is. I will probably experiment a little bit. I have taken one of the photos that I have taken recently, and it's probably one of my favorite I have ever taken. It's not about postpartum depression, but it's postpartum the way it is.
Okay, that's good. Mm-hmm.
And that is pure documentary the way we mean it,
Mm-hmm.
And it's very subtle. It's not very, it's not a loud photo.
Mm-hmm.
But that's probably the mood I will try to look for.
Mm-hmm. But not purely documentary. You're gonna express yourself like through art, or being more like what you're saying, like what you're saying, like not touching anything, but letting yourself express through, I don't know, maybe directing, or
yes,
probably not just documenting, not just
it's expressing it. There will be a bigger part of myself in this project. It's their story, because I want to tell their stories. But there will be my point of view. So we'll see.
Sibila, tudo bem? Mais alguma coisa?
Não, tudo bem, obrigada. Tá tudo
Thank
certo.
you.
You're welcome.
Mais alguém? Bom, então enquanto isso eu vou perguntando para ela mais coisas. So there's so much to talk about. We have a question about about your time being a judge, when you were a judge for inspiration photographers, right? I think you judged one of their rounds. And you're also a judge at the reportage family, right?
Yes.
So how was that? How was your experience being a judge? How do you feel about contests, about photography contests? So what is your take on that?
Okay, it was a very interesting experience for me. And I've learned a lot. Because when you put yourself on the other side, you realize what the judges expect from photographers, you know. But at the same time, I was a little bit disappointed when I saw that when I saw that the photos I have chosen were not awarded. So I felt the disappointment of not seeing those photos, because, you know, I saw true gems among all these photos, and I couldn't believe they didn't get an award. So, you know, I felt the disappointment when I didn't win on my side, and now I experience the disappointment of being on the other side.
I know.
But you know,
I know too.
at the same time, I think that contests are very rewarding for photographers when you win. And also it's good for your communication, because it's easier to, at least for me, it's easier to sell when I show awards.
Also, do you feel that?
Yes.
It is true for you. Okay.
It is true. Also, not only that, but when you try to access on those on other stories that you want to photograph, it's easier to get a yes if they see you and you are
won awards. That's interesting.
That's what happened to me.
Now, are you only participating with This Is Reportage, or are you on DFA too? Do you submit your work to DFA or
yes,
just This Is Reportage?
Both of them.
Both of them.
Yeah.
And just both of them? Do you submit your work to any other contests?
Sorry?
Do you submit your work for any other contests besides
yes.
DFA and This Is Reportage? I'm
trying to navigate right now through contests outside the family photography world, but it's still a bit confusing to me. There is a huge world outside, and you have to learn to know the judges. When you submit your photos, you have to know the judges, because everyone has a different taste. So
I agree with you.
If you want to succeed, you have to try to find what that judge might like. At the go ahead. At the same time, what I realized when I was on the other side judging, it was that it takes courage to experiment and send something different. It takes courage. Because 99% of photographers are submitting a copy of something which is already awarded.
Exactly. What has won before them. And they just resubmit that.
And it's not the same. I mean, it's just, at the end of the day, it's just a copy. So, but it's been interesting.
Gil, tem uma pergunta do Bruno.
Fala.
Bruno, você quer fazer, Bruno?
Pode fazer, Bruno. Pode... Vai, abre aí, pode fazer.
Eu vou fazer aqui em português, que eu acho que seu inglês está bem melhor que o meu aqui. Deixa eu voltar aqui.
Tenta, vai lá.
Eu não sei nem o vocabulário agora aqui. É o seguinte, é que ela comentou de alguns trabalhos que ela está em aberto desenvolvendo, né? Citou até o pós-parto, a depressão e tudo mais. Eu queria saber se ela tem algum desse tipo de trabalho que ela está em andamento, ou se ela já fez alguma coisa, acrescentando o item da Covid, né? O formato de vida com a Covid, se ela tem algum trabalho em andamento. Não sei se
Hi,
você
Sara.
entendeu, Gil.
Acho que sim. Vê aí se eu entendi.
Tá.
So what Bruno wants to know is if you're developing and you have anything ongoing about COVID, but life with COVID, like a long-term project or a project in development. Maybe with your daughters, maybe your own life, your experience.
I have a project that I've done during the pandemic. I mean, started during the lockdown, but it's of my daughters, the way they were experiencing it, and I think it's nearly done. I'm missing probably one or two photos, and that was it.
Are you gonna do anything with it? Is it gonna become a book or?
No. It's a very, very short project, to be honest.
Okay.
It's a short story. I'm not planning to do a book about it. I was a few months ago. I was thinking about doing something about COVID, but it was really complicated here to get access, to get the authorization, to get everything. It was an unbelievable mess to do everything outside your family. So at some point I just gave up, and now I think I don't know if people want to hear stories about COVID. I think people are just tired of
that. I know. Yeah. It's become too much. Yeah. So while we're on the subject of COVID, how long ago did you go back to shooting? How was it? I mean, how long were you not shooting for how long? And when could you finally go back to work?
Okay. Last year was completely burned. I think I've done one shooting in 1 year, which is absolutely nothing. Then I have started, also because I was working a lot with foreign families and families coming on vacation in Italy. So everything changed. I was talking in English on my Instagram page, and I switched everything back to Italian just to have, a base here in Italy. But last year was completely. I've worked a lot with. I have done a shooting for an influencer here in Italy, and I've started communicating only in Italian for the Italian market. Then something started to move back on track by the end of the year, and it literally exploded in this spring. So right now I am working like a lot.
Oh, that's good.
It is. And but I've realized that it takes a lot of work of communication and marketing and everything. It's crazy. But
how do you market yourself? How do you market? Like, do you use Instagram? How do you do that?
Mostly on Instagram. And when I choose an influencer, I choose someone who is on my target. I mean, I think the target is different from every photographer, and also what I have realized is that, thinking about Italy, for example, when we spent a year when we couldn't go to the restaurants, we couldn't move, we couldn't do anything. And I was very concerned because I was thinking, who's gonna spend money on this, like right now? But if you think about it, there are some family who have not been hit by the COVID, and they don't know how to spend money because they cannot travel, because they couldn't go to the restaurants. So maybe they are trying something different and making an investment in something else. And in Italy, documentary family photography is quite new and a little bit unknown. So when I show something, when I show them the result, they are always very surprised and happy. And then there's word of mouth. And then what happened, something funny that happened to me last month was that I had, this woman was calling me and she said, I'm looking for a photographer for a baptism. And I told her, I don't do baptism, I'm sorry. And she said, then you're the right photographer for me. So, okay, then let's do it. So I did it. And this year, I think it's this year I've sold my very first year in the life. So
how nice.
Yes. And I had a talk with this family, and they were like, we love the family photos, but we are tired of all the same photos. All the photos we have are the same. We want to try something different. And the woman is pregnant of her second child. So she had no idea that Year in the Life existed as a package. Since she was, she didn't know if doing her shooting before or after having her second child, I told her, why don't you try the Year in the Life? So you will have the photos of your life right now, because it will change. Everything will be different. You can also choose to photograph your birth, and then you can have the first encounter, the first meeting with the brothers, or the first birthday, and you have 12 months to use all the shootings, and you will get a beautiful album at the end. And she said, beautiful, let's do it.
Are you in the middle of it? Did you just start this year? This particular session that you're doing, the Year in Life, is it done already, or are you?
I've done just the first.
You've done it. So,
the first. So, sorry.
Gil, eu gostaria de fazer.
So I have to do other 3 shootings for them. But I'm very happy with it, because I think that it's a good way to know better the family if you meet them more than once. In the end,
definitely, yeah,
you become a friend. It's beautiful.
Fala, Manu.
Eu gostaria de fazer a pergunta sobre a relação deles com a história da arte, né? Que a gente
sim, você tinha me falado.
Isso, que a gente acredita que eles já nascem gostando de arte, né? Então, qual é a relação dela com a arte, a história da arte? Qual a importância que ela vê na relação entre arte e fotografia documental de família?
Okay. So, Sara, Manu is just talking about how, for us, when we think of Italy, it's like we hear Italy and we think art. It's like you're so immersed, with art and all your history. So does it have an influence on you and your photography? Do you like art? Do you study art? History of art,
It's very.
Go ahead.
Okay. I have never. I have studied art at school. That was it, to be honest. And I think that the art part which is influencing me somehow is that I live in a city which is full of art. I mean, every corner. At the point that you don't even realize it anymore.
You take it for granted, right? Yeah.
Yes, because you see it every day. Rome is amazing from this point of view, because every time you get lost, you find something. And it's beautiful, but at some point it's just like, it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, because if you think about it, we have a couple of churches here in Rome where you can go inside and see Caravaggio for free.
Yes.
It's beautiful. It's something like, for us, it's like, whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
Crazy. If you go to France, it's not like that. I mean, I think you would probably pay to see at least, a Caravaggio. But here you just need to go to the church, and you will see that you can enjoy them. You just need to lit a candle, just to a little bit of light, and you can enjoy your Caravaggio. Yes. It's amazing. Well, probably yes, but in a way I'm not realizing, to be honest. You know what? During the pandemic, when I couldn't go out, I was like, I felt the urge to see something related to art. So I started to watch tons of documentaries about Impressionism or whatever form of art. I needed so much. It was insane. And probably this is why, because as long as we can go out and enjoy it, like everywhere here, it's fine. But when we are locked down and we cannot see it, we miss it. But also, I can see, to me, like music is a form of art at the same time. There are some Italian singers, and they are, the way they write their lyrics, it's something amazing. I've always think, okay, I want to be in the photography world in the same way it is for the music world. The way it can translate something really hard or brutal into something poetic, it's amazing. And I want to be the same. That's what I think.
Oh, that's beautiful. I like that. Being able to interpret, right? To interpret all your emotions and feelings so poetically, just like you said.
Yeah, it's not easy.
I'd love that too. Yeah. And you even make it sound so easy, right? It's like,
oh yes,
effortless. Yeah.
Yes.
Gil,
Oi.
Eu queria saber o que eles estudam na escola sobre arte. É como no Brasil? No Brasil, nós somos incentivados na escola, o estudo na educação artística, na parte artesanal, né? Na produção artesanal. A gente não estuda a história da arte, a gente não estuda as belas artes, né? Então, eu gostaria de saber como é na Itália esse estudo básico, assim, de arte.
So, Sara, you're saying that you studied art in school. How was that? How did you study art? Is it art history? Was it art history? Because in Brazil, when we study art, or when children study art, it's mainly to do handmade work. So it's not really, like learning the history of art. So how was it for you in Italy?
I think it's the same. It's the same. It's very basic unless you study art, unless you put that career. And it's
like after, right?
It's a pity, because we are really surrounded by art, and we should know better. And my path was completely different, because I pursued a path in marketing and foreign languages. And this is probably the reason why photography has come at a later stage. I was like more on the, let's say, pragmatic side, but I wasn't happy with that.
Ok, Manu?
Ok, entendi. Alguém tem mais alguma pergunta, gente?
Que a gente está chegando no fim, né?
Eu tenho uma última pergunta, que tem uma que eu tinha te passado. Qual é o conselho que ela deixaria para quem está iniciando na fotografia documental de família?
Okay, Sara, so as we're coming to an end, we just have one more question for you. What advice would you give to aspiring photographers, to the young photographers going into documentary family photography? What advice would you give to them, or do you have to give to them?
I would say find a mentor as first thing, someone you admire, and try to see if he or she is the right mentor for you, and then go ahead. Go ahead until you feel confident enough to leave him or her. It will go quicker, because if you find a mentor, especially in the beginning, it will give you, he or she will give you the right direction, and it will be faster. Then I think that after that, you can do whatever you want. You will find your way, and you will find your way by shooting and as much as you can. Yes, that's and experiment. Don't be stuck just on that.
The family photography, right? Just shooting, whatever.
Yes.
Being open-minded, I think that's very good too.
Yes, I think that if you are open-minded, I'm not saying just you go ahead with your documentary family photography, but if you do something else in the meantime, aside, if you experiment, this will come back in your family photography, because it will teach you to see differently from others. Because if you only focus on documentary family photography, and that is, you just follow that path, you just follow your mentor, the risk is to end up in doing something already seen.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just doing the same thing. Just replicating work. Yeah. Instead of doing your work. Yeah, I agree with you.
Ótimo. Alguém tem pergunta, gente? Podem fazer aqui no chat.
Tenho duas que eu coloquei aí.
Deixa eu ver se eu encontro esse vídeo.
Você falou do Instagram, do Facebook, né?
Como que ela lida? Inclusive, a gente estava falando, né, muito lá no grupo sobre essa questão de o Instagram derrubar e tudo mais. E como ela é voltada para o marketing também, enfim, tem todo um trabalho, né, por trás aí com o marketing. Até no passado, eu também sou formada em marketing, então eu sinto também um pouco essa pressão, principalmente por eu trabalhar sozinha, né? E uma vez ou outra, como minha fotografia também é bem voltada para o lado comercial, embora eu esteja na fotografia documental há pouco tempo, eu ainda tenho muito desse lado comercial, assim. E o Instagram, eu queria saber como que ela lida com essa relação da rede social com relação ao trabalho fotográfico em si, porque eu morei um período na Europa recentemente, assim, e lá eles não usam com tanta frequência, pelo menos no período que eu fiquei, assim, o boom lá é ainda o Facebook, né? Então, enquanto a gente usa muito o Instagram e deixa muito de lado mais o Facebook, assim, eu queria saber como que é essa relação para ela, que eu não sei se procede ou não, né, no caso dela, e aí depois tem a última pergunta lá que eu fiz.
Então, peraí, senão eu me
Isso, essa daí primeiro.
Tá. Quando que você morou lá, Sibila?
Eu morei na Bélgica em 2018.
Ah, tá, recente, então tá bom.
Fui estudar fotografia, tenho família que mora lá, enfim, e pretendo ir embora daqui. E aí, isso depois vem na outra pergunta.
Aí você leva a gente junto, então tá bom.
Opa,
Então,
já pensou?
So Sara, Sibyl was just telling us that she lived in Belgium in 2018. And when she was in Europe, she realized, or at least in Belgium, people used Facebook way more than Instagram. So she wants to know if that's the same case for Italy. I mean, do you guys use more Facebook than Instagram for your work? And how do you deal with Instagram and Facebook? I mean, all these social media channels to market your work. How is that relationship for you?
Okay. I have to be honest, I've been focused on Instagram in the last year. And I kept posting on Facebook as well. I think you should do both of them. Both of them are important because many families are just on Instagram and many others are just on Facebook. I don't know if many of them, I find it for some reason more difficult maybe to reach my target on Facebook, probably because I use it less, so it is my fault, because I think that Facebook has a lot of potential. So social media have a lot of potential. So what I was thinking, to spend some more time on Facebook as well, because I mainly focused on Instagram in the last year. And things you have to do, I think that what I've realized in the last year and a half was that I started to record video of myself, which is something I felt terrible about, because I was like, oh my God, I look like a crazy person talking on my own. Yeah. And especially imagine when my husband is at home, I cannot do it. I felt terrible, but I've started because I put a questionnaire on my stories, and it was like, what would you like to see in my stories? And the answer were, we want to see you, because we don't know.
That's good.
And it is true, because if you think about it, we ask families to enter their intimacy. So how can they book you if they don't even see your face? So it's fun, because I have started recording this video and talking in Italian. And after a very short time, I started to get replies. People I've never met, I've never seen, sending me photos of their kids, asking me questions, or just chatting. And I've realized it has a lot of potential. So I don't know how I can reach families through Facebook, because I'm sure we should do both if we want to maximize everything. And also, regarding Instagram, I am not showing everything. Sometimes I'm thinking that if a photo is has the feeling of something lifestyle, let's say, I'm not posting it. I'm trying to market what I want to sell.
So you post what you want people to book you for.
Exactly.
That's good. How often do you post on Instagram?
Not so often, to be honest, because most of the shootings I'm doing, I don't get the model release. So many
Okay.
photos I have, I cannot share online. So when I'm lacking stuff, I have to do something for free.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't publish model calls at all. I prefer to ask my friends or friends of friends. I don't want to give the idea that I'm shooting for free.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you need it, you need stuff, so you ask your friends, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can keep posting. But what I've noticed is that stories are more important than posting.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep up with stories. I'm just leaving it behind recently because I am overwhelmed by the things I have to do,
Mm-hmm.
work and family and kids and
Mm-hmm.
but I've realized I have to go back and do the proper job if I want to keep the clients coming. You know, we all, at some point, I think that we all realize that we all love photography, but working as a photographer is like 10% of the job. Taking
It
pictures.
is. Yeah.
So you have to learn to do the other 90% of the stuff properly if you
Mhm.
want to run a business.
Yeah. Do you like Instagram? Like really like it? Or do you feel like there could be another social media, to take over? Do you
No,
use it because you have to? I mean,
I use it because I have to be honest.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
I like spending time on Instagram, looking for different profiles and looking for photos, for stories. I found some profiles very interesting and very, because maybe they are completely different from what I do. And so I also find inspiration on Instagram.
Mhm.
But when you do it like constantly, at some point you burn out because it's a lot.
It
Sometimes
is a lot.
I would love to shut down everything and go and live in the
Oh, I
woods
feel it.
and forget about Instagram. But we have to do the job, so so it's okay. I will keep recording video of myself feeling like a crazy woman.
What do you talk about on the videos when you record yourself?
What I was talking about recently, I talk about how the session works, what I do. Sometimes I have posted behind the scenes video while I was doing a day in the life shooting, and I posted albums showing albums or prints, and I'm showing other photographers' work and people like.
Mhm.
And I'm showing also, no, sorry, I was talking about stories in general, but you were asking about what I record about myself.
Yeah.
No, talking about mostly about what I do, the way I do it, or I don't think it's nothing really special, I would say, but it's just every time I record a video, I record it like 5 or 6 times at least.
Mhm.
I try to be, I write the text before to see if it is not too long, because otherwise you will you realize you will lose the people
Attention. Yeah.
to
Mhm.
you.
Interest. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm trying to be I'm trying to use the right tone of voice I'm working on it. And this is something I really like doing because I love public speaking. I really love it. So
that's good.
It's different when you do it on a video, of course. But I've done a speech for Nikon for that. And it's been absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed it. And I loved it doing it. I think it was my very first photography speech in front of so many people. And they were all male. So
Wow.
I was thinking, oh my God, I have to write a speech talking about family photography, but considering I have a male audience, it was challenging. It was amazing in the end. And
That's so
they
good.
liked it, so. So it's a good exercise. It's a good exercise also talking on, on the phone.
Oh my gosh, I hate that. Ugh. Yeah. Ugh. It feels so awkward. Oh, it just feels so awkward. Ugh.
Yeah, no, but you have to do it. That's part of
I know.
And that's the part that works better. So
that's what I hear. That's what people keep telling me. You have to work on that. Yeah, I have to.
Mm-mm. So I had a woman who recently sent me photos of her chickens after seeing my stories, because I was sharing a photo of a beautiful photo of another photographer with a child with a chicken. So she was like sending me photos of her family and her chickens.
Oh, that's nice.
It's amazing because you start a conversation with people you don't know. And I booked some clients through Instagram.
Oh, that's good.
How did you find me? They say, oh, on Instagram.
Instagram.
Crazy.
Oh, that's amazing.
About
it. Yeah, it does work.
It does work.
Yeah. Gente, então vamos fechar que meu petitinho já tá aqui. Mamãe, não vai ser seu aniversário nunca. Quando que é seu aniversário? Ele quer cantar
agora.
Parabéns.
Vai lá, amiga. Vamos dar tchau para Sara. Grazie Sara, grazie mille.
Prego, grazie a voi.
Ai, que lindo.
So next time it will be an Italian lesson.
Yes, please.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Grazie.
We want that.
Pronto. Acho que
Sara, but we want to have you here again if you want to. We can do a second version of this, like a second time, or
Yes.
There's so much more to talk about, and I know people have more. I know there are more questions.
Vocês têm mais alguma pergunta, gente?
I know there are more questions. We could do another.
Só aquela última que eu coloquei lá, mas eu esqueci que hoje tem ainda o aniversário da...
É que o meu petitinho tá aqui. Ele tá
pode deixar.
A gente chama Sara em uma outra oportunidade.
Perfeito, com certeza.
Podemos chamar até mais, né, de pessoas da Itália para a gente estar conversando, enfim.
We loved it, Sara. If you would, come back again and do another talk with us, we would love that. Because there's so much more to talk about.
Yes. I am your fan, Sara.
I am your fan too, so...
Big fan. Agradecer, né, Gil? Pessoal, alguém tem alguma pergunta ou podemos dispensar a Gil para cortar o bolo dela, gente?
Ou senão a Nana tá aí, ela pode continuar qualquer coisa também, se ela quiser continuar. Quer, Nana, continuar?
Só se alguém tiver mais alguma pergunta.
Mais alguma pergunta, né?
Eu posso, não tem problema nenhum.
Alguém tem mais alguma? Senão até fica tarde para Sara, né? Lá já são 9 horas.
Pode marcar para uma segunda conversa.
Segunda vez, eu acho legal.
Eu procuro ela.
Participa também.
Isso.
Né? Muito legal. Agradecer também a oportunidade. Thank you, Sara.
Thank you.
I loved your work. You are so special.